Political news now. The third time is not the charm. Mitt Romney has officially announced that he will not run for president in 2016. He made the announcement in a call to supporters. Take a listen.
I believe that one of our next generation of Republican leaders, one who may not be as well known as I am today, one who has not yet taken their message across the country, one who's just getting started, may well emerge as being better able to defeat the Democrat nominee. In fact, I expect and hope that to be the case. You can't imagine how hard it is for an enemy to step aside, especially knowing of your support and the support of so many people across the country. But we believe it's for the best of the party and the nation. I've been asked, and will certainly be asked again, if there are any circumstances whatsoever that might develop that could change my mind. That seems unlikely.
Well, today's announcement is the hot topic in Washington. Nancy Cordes, Steve Chaggaris, and John Dickerson break down how this is shaking up the 2016 elections.
So, Nancy, Mitt Romney is not going to run. Can you give us a brief description of the rise and fall of Romney 2016?
Yes, I mean, I think that the introduction of Romney into this race was as surprising as his exit. No one expected that he was suddenly, after months, if not years, of saying, "I'm not running. I have no interest in running," and Ann Romney saying that the same, that he was going to suddenly show an interest, and then just to suddenly say, actually, I've changed my mind, I'm not going to do it. But in those 3 weeks or so, what happened was that potential donors, potential staffers, people who had been big supporters of Mitt Romney in 2012 and possibly in 2008 as well, said, look, we love you. We think that you've been great for the party. You've been such a stalwart supporter, especially throughout the midterms. But we think that the field is very crowded with a lot of great people who potentially have less baggage than you do, who don't have to overcome comments about the 47%, things like that, and it's time to give someone else a chance.
Yeah, there was a feeling among some that it was that he was going to go, that all the signs were there, and I talked to somebody today who said, well, you know, the Army got a little ahead of its supply lines, meaning that, you know, there was a lot of, Mitt, we love you, and he interpreted that to mean, we think you should run. So who does this help and who does it hurt, Steve?
So it helps Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, right? Because if Romney got in there, he would have been the third guy sort of fighting for that same pool of donors and operatives and supporters. And so now it's, if Jeb and Christie get in, it's just the two of them and no Mitt Romney to worry about there. Who it hurts, I don't know. I mean, who do you think it hurts? I think it probably...
it definitely hurts Mitt Romney's chances.
There's no question there.
Although Mark Mellman, a Democratic pollster, said, well, you know, actually it may not change his chances.
Do you think it hurts, though, the sort of wing, the right wing of the party, maybe, now that there's only two that they're going to get?
I think you're right. So if the premise was that conservatives would benefit from a total crack-up on the right, where they, excuse me, a crack-up on, I guess, to their left, the sort of moderates, a total crack-up where they split the votes, create a lot of chaos, I think that probably does. I think another person is maybe, if you believe, is Rand Paul. If you believe this theory that he needs a fight on the right and a fight on the left to kind of keep everyone distracted so he can survive in the middle with his kind of idiosyncratic voters.
I think it also helps the Republicans who are trying to cast this race as the new guard versus the old guard. You know, in the flurry of statements that came out from all these potential candidates today saying, you know, oh, Mitt Romney, wise decision, so supportive, what a great guy. The one that really stood out to me was Marco Rubio's, who said, I know what a difficult decision this must be. I deeply respect his decision to give the next generation a chance to lead. Not that surprising that a 44-year-old potential candidate might say that.
What was interesting, though, is that Romney himself said something similar in his statement. And so was that was basically
about next generation.
About next generation. So that was sort of a slam against Bush.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It seems to me the person this really sets up well for is Scott Walker. So he's next generation and he's governor, executive experience. And what'll be interesting is to see there's a lot of bad blood among some at the staff level in Romney land about Chris Christie. Because as we all remember, he was galloping, you know, towards the finish line, and Chris Christie takes a little detour, is still supporting Mitt, but of course links up with the president in the hurricane moment, and a lot of people thought that was a bit of a betrayal.
Is it your sense a lot of these folks that are undecided now that we're trying to figure out between Jeb, Christie, and Mitt are going to go with Jeb?
It feels like that today. I mean, so 3 people I talked to who were kind of in the old Romney camp, basically they were sort of waiting for this. They really were for Bush, and they were kind of like they didn't know how to resolve this, and I think Mitt Romney basically resolved it for them.